Good morning. Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 412. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 Report. A political earthquake in California and elsewhere. Stuff happening in the Strait of Hormuz, stuff happening in Congress. Man, I tell you what, if you needed a day to relax, this is not the day, because I bet it's going to continue on even more so today than it was yesterday. But that's all right. That's what we get. That's why we get to endure day by day, right? All right. So welcome to the JPA report. If you are not a follower, as in watch a follower of the channel itself, there's that little bell right beside us where it says the JPA report. Click that bell, go down and click follow, and you'll be a follower, okay? You'll be number 156, I believe. Yep. You'd be number 156, and then click that little thumbs up button right beside it for a like for the episode for the day, and then get in there and chat. I got COVID for life here today. Good old Ricky, one of my really good friends here. But yeah, so let's do this. So America 250. Let me bring my microphone just a little bit closer to where it should be at. Sorry about that. America 250. I'm glad man, I tell you what, if you broadcast and you don't have this one, it's called a blue mic. Man, these are awesome microphones. Softly put it back down on the desk. But you can do multi-dimensional, you can do omnidirectional, multi-directional, all kinds of stuff. But it's really cool. So I don't know why I was talking about my microphone, but so America 250 on this day, a very instrumental day in the history and the formation of our country. The Second Continental Congress on this day in 1776 appointed the Committee of Five, which would be Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, and John Adams. Those five people together comprise of the Committee of Five, which would start tomorrow, June 11th, drafting the Declaration of Independence. So it all starts now, all right? Along with, they're going to incorporate part of the Lee resolution in with the Declaration of Independence. So the time is rolling now. We know it's June 10th. They didn't plan on July 4th because, I don't think they could tell the future. Matter of fact, it was presented on July 3rd and voted on July 3rd, and it was read publicly on the 4th or something like that, okay? All right. So, yeah, the Committee of Five was appointed, and tomorrow is when they start drafting the Declaration of Independence. If you are proud of them doing that, put an American flag in the chat, all right? Because American history, all right? I'm going to start and put American flag. Here we go. There's my American flag. All right, so next. I wish I could multitask more so than I can already do. All right, so now we got the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies, supplies, and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. You need a transfer. We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? JC can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right. So, good people. All right. So now we have the Iran update. Just so you know, breaking news came out just a few minutes ago, about 7:55 my time. The inflation rate was up year over end at 3%. I think it was at 3%, and it was due to increasing oil prices. Okay, but we all know oil prices are going down, so it's a belayed mathematical scale. So next month it'll go back down. All right, and there was something else. I should have wrote it down. All right. So Iran update. Oil is going down. Right. I'll tell you right now. Brent crude oil was at $92.98 about 45 minutes ago. Right. And let's compare that to this morning when I checked it about 4:30 a.m. It's up just slightly from what it was this morning, and West Texas Intermediate is almost the same. Okay. All right. So we got two things here. First, I'm going to do a True Social. There it is. This is what the president wrote this morning on True Social. And I forgot to hit the hearts on it. I'll go back and do that. So he said the fake news media refuses to report how effective the U.S. naval blockade is. The most successful blockade in the history of naval warfare. Nothing gets through unless we want it to. It is a steel wall. Iran is doing zero business, not paying the military or any of their bills, and quickly becoming a failed nation. Lots of oil is getting out, other than Iranian oil, and praise be to Allah. That was a stick at the Iranian government and President Donald J. Trump. And then he writes right before that was, the Iranian military is a complete and total mess. Much of it, like their Navy and Air Force, doesn't even exist anymore. They have been completely defeated. Iran is all talk, no action. The bully of the Middle East is dead. They're taking too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price. President Donald J. Trump. All right, let me go back to that. All right, so let's see. That is all geared toward yesterday. The Iranians shot down an A-64 Apache. And then the Iranian foreign minister warns no attack will be left unanswered. And then the U.S. retaliated for the attack, and we struck like 20 different targets. All right. We struck 20 different targets. So I'm distracted right now. I'm sorry. Okay, so what happened? Iran launched a drone, right? And we don't know if it was a guided drone or a dummy drone, where you fire and forget, it just goes straight towards target and explodes, right? So there was a low-level flying AH-64 yesterday with 2 pilots in it. You always fly with 2 pilots in an Apache. So what happened was that while they were flying, they got struck by a drone, an Iranian drone. The drone didn't detonate, which means that the drone wasn't intended for that Apache. It was intended for in the United Arab Emirates, because that's about where they were off the coast of Oman, which was near the Strait of Hormuz, which Oman is just a little bitty tip, and then the UAE's on each side of it, right? So this drone impacted this Apache helicopter, did not detonate, but it's caused a fire, and these pilots actually landed the Apache in the ocean. So, okay, too many people watch TV, so they don't know this stuff. If you're in a helicopter and a helicopter crashes, most of the time people die, right? If you get struck by a missile, it detonates. Most of the time, even if you're in a helicopter, you die, right? If you're stranded in the ocean in a helicopter that crashes in the ocean and you're stranded there for 2 hours, you're probably going to die. These two Army warrant officers or Army officers are the luckiest soldiers on the face of the earth. And it's so fortunate that they were rescued and they weren't injured, and all they had was a destroyed helicopter, because all kinds of bad stuff could have happened in the aftermath of that helicopter going down, right? So pray that this doesn't escalate, and thank goodness they were being looked after. They were rescued by the first time ever by something called a Corsair drone boat, right? So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I really don't like Lloyd Austin. He used to be the SecDef back under the Biden administration. He was a pretty good officer, but he was not a very good. But I did realize yesterday that he made a really good decision in approving the procuring of drone boats. And so we have drone boats and drone airplanes now, but they dispatched 2 drone boats called Corsairs to pick up these down pallets in the middle of the ocean. It's awesome, isn't it? It's amazing what our military can do these days. So don't forget those guys. I mean, that's awesome work. Awesome. Just thank goodness that drone didn't detonate when it impacted the Apache helicopter. All right. So I'm going to read a portion of this. We're already at 8:12. Hold on just a second. I want to see something here. Refresh. Yep. Okay. I was just checking to see if Dan Bongino's on this morning, because we will raid into it. He was gone yesterday, if you didn't know. So the U.S. military on Tuesday unleashed strikes against Iran in retaliation for its unjustified downing of an Apache and its 2 pilots. The president ordered proportional strikes after determining Iran on Monday shot down a U.S. Apache helicopter in the Strait of Hormuz, leaving a 2-month-old ceasefire hanging in it by a thread. Trump, however, signaled he wasn't going to return to a full-scale war and downplayed the helicopter attack, telling the Wall Street Journal that it wasn't a big deal. The pilots are fine. That's good. The retaliation strike was inland inside of Iran, taking down more radar stations and more air defense capability. And Israel did the same thing also. So what they're doing is softening up the landscape again in preparation of maybe another aerial attack on Iran, because evidently they haven't learned their lesson yet. The military response also said, also billed as measured, with CENTCOM describing Tuesday's evening's mission as a self-defense strikes. It says CENTCOM forces began launching self-defense strikes against Iran at 5 p.m. At the commander-in-chief's direction in response to yesterday's downing of an Apache helicopter. The combatant command said yesterday, which would be Admiral Cooper. As the announcement was made, Trump told ABC reporter over the phone that it was very important to respond. You better believe that. What do you do to a bully? You knock the bully down, right? That is in response to what they did to our helicopter last night, and I believe that the response should be very strong, very powerful, and that is what this one is. Minutes later, Iran state media reported that a projectile had struck an Iranian port city of Shirk, which is near the entrance of the Strait of Hormuz. The strikes, which were still underway as of 7 p.m. Eastern, which would be 2 hours, targeted Iranian air defense systems and radar installations. Earlier Tuesday, a source familiar with U.S. military planning said any strikes that would likely target Iran's coast by the strait, particularly areas Tehran has stored or launched weapons from. All right. And then we read the couple of the Truth Socials and stuff. So it's done. But this morning, Trey Ying's on Fox News was the president is at the end of his wits, and he's getting the feeling that Iran is not serious. And like a lot of people are playing the analogy of peanuts. Charlie Brown is the U.S. He's about to kick a field goal. Lucy is Iran, and she swipes the football away at the last second. That's the kind of football we're playing right now. We need to nail the football to the ground and then kick it, all right, and not let Lucy pull it away. All right, so other than that, let's see. U.S. is still going to issue visas to the World Cup team, which World Cup play starts tomorrow, I believe. Iran said it's reported that Iran's accelerating execution of activists. Israel and Lebanon's peace talks are at a point of no return. So hopefully that will get finished. And missile fire from Iran to multiple sites resulted in no damage, except for maybe in Bahrain, there was one strike that was inconsequential. And the president still believes that a deal can be reached with Iran. All right. Brent crude oil a while ago was at $92.98 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate was at $89.89 a barrel. And the stock market closed up 86.1 to 50,872.11. Stock market opens up in 15 minutes. So we'll see if it goes up or down, right? All right, last night, election-wise, in California, it was election day +7, right? They finally came to 90% of the vote was counted. It was enough to unbelievably. This is a shocker. That's why I named it political earthquake, because Steve Hilton made the runoff. Because Javier Becerra at 27.9 and Steve Hilton at 25% of the vote, and Tom Steyer had 22.6. Pretty close, but it was enough to launch Steve Hilton into the November 3rd runoff election for governor. All right. Awesome news. Unexpected, because the way that Spencer Pratt left the race, because I still don't believe that there was over a 10,000 vote swing in his race, but it happened. This is unbelievable. Like the president says, you got to make it too big to rig. He got enough votes. In this last night, he was on Fox News night with Todd Gallagher, I think. Oh man, I lost it. Okay, I'm sorry, but he says Javier Becerra was very, very weak cabinet secretary, and he does not know what he got coming his way, because Steve Hilton said he is prepared for this fight. All right. And then the only Democrat I'm going to mention on here is Oyster Boy. Oyster Boy, Graham Plattner, defeated Janet Mills, Governor Janet Mills in their primary, 72-19. And then the rest of these people I'm going to name, only one of them is going to be in a runoff election. That would be for South Carolina governor, Pam Evett. She's going to be in a runoff. She was endorsed by President Trump. She got 29%. And Alan Wilson, he's the attorney general right now in South Carolina. He got 26%. I'm not going to do the point percents, okay? I'm just going to give whole numbers because we'll be here all live long day. So, see, Lindsey Graham. This is for Senate, South Carolina. Lindsey Graham defeated Mark Lynch 57-28. Pam Everett defeated Alan Wilson 29-26. In Nevada, for Nevada governor, Joe Lombardo defeated none of the above. Believe it. Like I said earlier, it's just like Brewster's Millions, right? Vote none of the above. That was on the ballot in Nevada. Joe Lombardo beat none of the above 91-2. All right. Frerick for Nevada governor, attorney general. Frerick defeated Tarkaninian 60-34. South Carolina 4, Congressional District 4. Will Timmons defeated Ashley 65-19. South Carolina, Congressional District 2. Joe Wilson, the famous guy that told Barack Obama, "You lie." He defeated his primary opponent 73-14. Let's see. Nevada's first congressional district, Connie Buck defeated Blockley 77-11. Nevada's second congressional district, David Flippo defeated Settlemyre 45-35. Nevada's third congressional district, Marty O'Donnell defeated Anderson 42-24. And North Dakota's first district, and I think the only district, Fettercock defeated Balaz 72-27. Those are the majority of the races that were happening on the national level last night during primaries. It was Maine, South Carolina, North Dakota, and Nevada. All right, cool. And then Pam Evett's runoff will be 2 weeks from yesterday. It's a turn and burn. Okay. All right. So more on Steve Hilton. Republican Steve Hilton has advanced to the November general election for California governor after placing second in the state's jungle primary. The race call comes 1 week after primary election, which saw former HHS Javier Becerra place first. President Trump endorsed Hilton over fellow Republican Chad Bianco, and Democrats fielded several candidates, including Katie Porter and billionaire Tom Steyer. There were 61 candidates in the governor's race. Yeah, 61, like a full-strength combat platoon in the Army. All right. Now, my only fear about that one is it is great that Steve Hilton is in the runoff. He should have been in first place, but he's not. And the fact is they keep counting these ballots over and over. I really hope tomorrow when the Supreme Court does a series of announcements that this case, the one is counting mail-in ballots after Election Day, is resolved. And I hope it's positively resolved where Election Day is Election Day. The problem is right now, the only thing I can see is I'm so surprised that Steve Hilton made it to the runoff, because in dark blue LA County that Spencer Pratt lost, that I thought it would drag down Steve Hilton also. Now, the problem also you're going to have is during the runoff, where these Republicans disgruntled enough after Pratt lost that they will go back and propel either Karen Bass or Nithya Raman to the mayor's race, right? Will it help Steve? Will they cross over and vote, and then vote for Steve Hilton for governor? So that's the problem you have. Because like me, I don't vote for Democrats at all. So what's the incentive of me going to vote? Uh, Vote for one person? I mean, I would do that. I would go in and just purposely vote for the Republican. But there are a lot of people out there that won't even bother, and that's a way of suppressing the vote to keep people from going out there. This is going to be really hard for Steve Hilton. I really hope he can pull it out. Uh, this man is very experienced. He worked for Fox News for several years. He's been a U.S. citizen now. He's naturalized. He worked with David Cameron, the conservative leader, prime minister in England several years ago. And then he came to the United States on immigration and became a citizen. So we'll find out November 3rd. He said on tape last night that Javier Becerra does not know what's coming at him. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, next. In South Carolina and in Maine, stuff was happening last night. We'll talk about Oyster Boy in just a minute. So Tuesday's evening's primary contest saw Trump-aligned candidates finish strong in the South Carolina Republican primaries, while Democrats advance, what's his name? Graham Plattner or Oyster Boy in my world. All right. So relatively few of the major contests saw results that differed significantly from pre-election polling. Though the outcome in South Carolina's gubernatorial primary suggests that Trump's endorsement played a modest role in the result, but it was enough to help her get into the runoff, okay? South Carolina was host to a crowded primary for governor contest, which is set for runoff after no candidate cleared the necessary threshold. Trump endorsed Pamela Evette finished first. Attorney General Alan Wilson finished second. Ralph Norman finished third. Nancy Mace finished fifth. She was projected to finish fourth. And then Rom Reddy finished fourth. At press time, Evette led with 29.3 and Wilson at 25.9. Somewhat unexpected was Mace's fifth place finish. She says she's not done. All right. Her life and public life is not done. The firebrand congressman had positioned herself as a Trump-aligned candidate, and her social media antics attracted considerable attention, though ultimately voters opted for the two candidates with state executive branch experience to advance. Mace, for her part, appeared to signal that she would remain in public life and possibly seek another office, though she did not elaborate on future plans. Please do not say president. Thomas Massey's already saying that. No, please don't. Right? Please don't. All right. So Oyster Boy, the RNC chair, actually went after him also, right? And it keeps sliding backwards. So Joe Gruthers shows no respect for Oyster Boy. He escalated his attacks on Graham Plattner following his primary victory, accusing him of being a racist, sexist, Nazi-loving domestic abuser who fantasizes about rape and murder. Plattner has also faced scrutiny over a tattoo that resembled a Nazi-linked Totenkopf, which it was the same tattoo. And he has denied knowledge knowing embracing the Nazi imagery and has since covered up the design. The Democrat nominee has faced allegations from former girlfriends who accuse him of emotional abuse and intimidation, including one claim that he twisted his ex-girlfriend's arm. Plattner has rejected the accusations, and no charges have ever been filed against him. Reuters argued that Democrat support for Plattner also hurt the party's prospect in the general election, writing that the fact that Democrats have embraced him in service of a radical socialist agenda, you could say a communist agenda, has placed him in the final nail in the coffin and his chances to win Maine in November. The attack also comes as prominent Democrats, including Chucky Schumer and Bernie Sanders, congratulated Plattner on their victory. All right. So Oyster Boy won. Okay. But like I said earlier, somebody in the VA really needs to look into him, because in his financial statement that was just recently produced, it showed him with a yearly income from oyster farming for $5,000 a year. He earned $3,000 a year for being a harbor master, and he earns $4,500 a month in VA disability. He's a 100% disabled veteran. Now, hold on a second. The issue with that is when you're a 100% disabled veteran, it's $4,000 a month. If you're getting $4,500 a month, that means you are probably declared unemployable individual, which you can be 100% and employable or 100% unemployable, right? If you're unemployable, you can't work at all. It's a $500 stipend. So 4,000 plus 500 equals about $4,500. So if he is getting unemployable stipend on top of his VA disability, how can he work as an oyster farmer and harvest and sell and run a boat and everything else with being physically disabled? Just saying, right? My wife is 60% and she walks with a walker, and so if he's 100% with the UI, there's got to be something definitely wrong with him. All right, so someone may need to look into that. All right. Alrighty. So where am I looking at now? Where am I at? Oh, I'm down here. All right. So House GOP, the NRCC, National Republican Congressional Committee, their chair is predicting Republicans will gain seats in November midterms. With all the redistricting that's been going on, that should happen. I even read, it's in here too, but Kevin Kilroy, I think is his name, he's in California. He took the Republican label off his name and ran as independent, but he will caucus with the Republicans. He actually got into the runoff also, and when they finally counted all the votes after 7 days, he made it into the runoff. So all bets aren't off when they redistricted California. Same thing can be said here in Texas too. We made it a lean Republican. It doesn't mean Republicans won't win, right? But Kilroy actually won. He got first or second place, but he's going into the runoff, which means there's still a chance. National Republican Congressional Committee Chair Richard Hudson predicted Tuesday that his party will gain seats in the House in the 2026 midterms this November, highlighting how the congressional map favors the GOP. Hold on. Okay. Another one, man. Okay. Breaking news. Bill Gates is on Capitol Hill. All right. Uh, the comments come after multiple states launched redistricting efforts in the past year that have resulted in Republicans, while just six swing more toward Democrats, 16 toward Republicans, and 6 toward Dems. I'm very confident we are going to hold the House. In fact, I think we're going to pick up seats. The reason is the map favors Republicans, and I was saying this a year ago before redistricting and all that went on. I think with redistricting, this gives us a little bit more of an edge on the map. The seats that are up for grabs favor Republicans. Hudson also believes that he also believes Republicans have advantages this year in fundraising and candidate quality. Go figure, Oyster Boy, right? Um, the chair rejected criticism that the ongoing conflict in Iran could hurt the GOP's chance of keeping control of the House, noting the economic pain Americans feel will be short lived. What we have is a temporary situation because President Trump said we're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. The world is safer because of what I got the hiccups. I'm sorry. Still, Hudson acknowledged that the midterms will be tight this year with fewer than 30 races determining the control of the House. I mean, 435 seats, less than 30 are going to determine the majority, but in those 30, we're poised to win. You got to get out there and knock down doors, kiss babies, and flip pancakes. You got to win these. You got to get people energized to get out there and campaign and go vote and get people to go vote with them. All right. Uh, you talk is cheap when it comes to campaigns. You can't go light. All right. But he says we're going to pick up 16. So that would take us from 218 to 216 would be about 234. That's what he's projecting around. No red wave talk. Just like Dan Bongino says, no red wave here. It's a ripple. Got to go out and fight, 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 fight. All right. So we'll do this one first. I don't know how this one got in the stack like it did. But Congress passes the ICE and CBP funding bill last night. The House of Representatives passed it at 214 to 212. One vote difference. It would have failed. And that was thanks to Tim Walberg, Republican from Michigan. He initially voted no, and he changed his vote at the last minute back to yes, which caused the bill to pass. Now it goes to the president. I would like to know why Tim Walberg decided that he did not want to vote for it. That would be a good question to know. It doesn't say it in here, but there's a $70 billion reconciliation bill funding the ICE and CBP for 3 years to the end of the presidency for President Trump. It passed the Senate last week at 52 to 47, and it passed yesterday 214 to 212. It's on its way to President Trump, and you know he will sign it. All right. Hold on. I have no idea. Some rap group, Two Wayne Clan, will perform at the Knicks Spurs NBA Finals Game 4 halftime show. I have no idea who that is. All right. GOP accuses Alaska GOP Senator Sullivan, primary challenger with the same name, of being a progressive operative. You may say, I don't care. Daniel J. Sullivan is challenging Daniel Sullivan for the Senate seat in the Republican primary in Alaska. Who really cares, right? You should. And I'm going to read this because it is important to know. It's not really long, but you will understand when I'm done, okay? Oh, since we're at 8:40, do not forget, click the like button for the podcast. give me a like. And then also, if you're not already a follower, please click the little bell where you see JP8 report, join, and you see a little bell. Click that little list arrow, go down, and click the follow button, please. Okay. All right, that helps out my listeners and the algorithms and stuff. All right, so the National Republican Senatorial Committee filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission on Monday concerning a Republican senator candidate in Alaska who shares the same name as the incumbent. According to the complaint, Daniel J. Sullivan from Petersburg, Alaska, filed a declaration of candidacy to run as Republican for the Alaskan Senate seat currently held by Republican incumbent Senator Dan Sullivan. Daniel J. Sullivan, has no prior history of registering as Republican and had previously supported Democrats, including Senator Sullivan's opponent, Democrat Mary Patola. It gets even better, people. Okay. Keep getting news. The complaint alleges, man, you ain't going to believe this. The complaint alleges that a press release from Daniel J. Sullivan, that's the challenger, campaign contained metadata showing it was authored by Amber Lee. Who's Amber Lee? Well, Amber Lee has her own company called Amber Lee Strategies, a consulting firm that exclusively progressive client roster. She's a Democrat socialist. All right. Daniel J. Sullivan, the challenger, the complaint states, also uses logos and a website that features similar colors, imagery, and fonts as Senator Sullivan. So now they're plagiarizing, all right, or violating copyrights or trademarks. Senator Sullivan, the actual, told CNN that Democrats are trying to cheat in this election, and the NRCC is asking Alaska election officials to remove the competing Sullivan from the ballot. Daniel J. Sullivan, that's the challenger, denied he's attempting to confuse voters and said that he always has been a moderate who's backed candidates from both parties. It's my name, my grandfather's name, Dan Sullivan. My dad's name is Dan Sullivan, he told CNN. Man, hold on just a second. My tablet's messing up on me. There we go, I'm back. Who do you believe and who's being true, right? So should he be, man, how do you do that? I couldn't imagine when the times I've ran for office, there'd be another James Pierce on the ballot with me. That would be unbelievable. How do you fight something like that? Because, man, but from the looks of it, he's a plant for the Democrats. So they have closed primaries, unlike us in Texas yet. We will. But they found someone with the name Dan Sullivan to run against Dan Sullivan. And he is the person doing his website and stuff only works with Democrats. Why would she all of a sudden say, I'll work with the Republican, which there's a Democrat on the other side of the aisle? It's too fishy. Even Alaska is too fishy, right? Hopefully the Republicans will win that fight. All right. So we'll go to that one last. We'll go to this one. We'll do Nancy Mace first. All right, Nancy Mace, we were talking about her getting beat. She finished 5th place in the primary, and she's quoted, "This isn't the end." All right. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, hold on, just the news. Okay. Nancy Mace on Tuesday seemed to leave the door open to remaining in public and political life after her fifth-place finish in the South Carolina GOP gubernatorial primary. I will always be grateful for the people of South Carolina who trusted me, fought with me, and refused to look the other way. This isn't the end of the fight. It's just the end of this chapter, she said without specifying future plans. Mace earned 11.4% of the vote, failing to make the runoff. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette and State Attorney General Alan Wilson finished in the top two slots and will advance to the next stage. Ralph Norman finished third. Ron Reddy finished fourth. After the polls closed and results showed Mace poised to lose, she issued a statement on X. Serving South Carolina has been the greatest honor of my life. Mace appeared to blame her loss on her support for releasing the Epstein files. She said, I voted to release Epstein files and I lost some of my support for that. As a survivor, I chose to stand on principle and stand against the Epstein cover-up. She chose to expose hidden names in sexual harassment slush fund, which is a different story. And apparently I chose the wrong if the goal was winning the election. I'm at peace with that. You know what? She accepted responsibility. She went out like a leader. I mean, I don't think she should have ran it for governor. She should have stayed in Congress. But she did what she thought was important in her life. And she stood for on that principle. And she got beat. I wouldn't count her out either. Okay? I wouldn't. I lost the race on a vote I took, and I re-ran in another office, and I got elected. It can happen, okay? All right, so we ain't seen the last of Nancy Mace. All right, next, Kevin Kiley, I was just telling y'all about that in California, advances to California's general election as an independent. All right. So where are we at? We're at 8:47. We're doing good. Man, we're going to finish up today, maybe. Independent California Representative Kevin Kiley advanced to his district's general election Tuesday night and will face former Democrat State Senator Richard Pan in November. Kiley made a name for himself as a Republican lawmaker in the Golden State, but left the party early this year to represent the 6th District as an independent. Hold on just a second here. The former Republican said at the time that he plans to continue caucusing with the GOP and would allow him to keep his positions on committees and with the approval of the party's leadership, but said he was becoming independent because of his disgust with the gerrymandering process going on across the country. The governors and legislatures in a number of states, including California, are working to redraw their maps. Kiley is now running to represent a newly redrawn 6th congressional district that is widely viewed as favorable to Democrats, but he got in second place. The results come 1 week after the state primaries because mail-in ballots in California are counted as long as they're dropped off. Okay. So, Kevin, I hope you win. That would be really good. You should not, just because you're outnumbered Democrats and Republicans does not mean you should not run for office. It's all about the candidate most of the time. All right? If you're able to convince people to vote for you, you'll win. Look at previous congressional maps and presidential maps, and you'll see it swings back and forth. It's not always the same, right? All right, next. 8:49. No, instead of drinking everything inside, let me just put a cough drop in there. Oh. Sorry about that. I'm losing my voice. Dozens of U.S. lawmakers. If you did not know, we're at the very end of the 45-day extension on the FISA 702 extension. It expires day after tomorrow on the 12th. Congress has got to do something quick. But there's a problem. You have dozens of lawmakers that do not want to comply with this at all because there's no safeguards for Americans from their data being seized. Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, very important to me. If it was up to me, I don't care. 702 wouldn't exist. You'd go to standard route for a warrant. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, people. I firmly believe in the Constitution. Congressional leaders are desperate to renew the federal government's authority to conduct mass electronic surveillance before the authority expires, but dozens of lawmakers in both chambers are bucking a long-term extension unless it includes significant reforms. Dozens of Democrats and a significant handful of Republicans are insisting that any reauthorization of FISA Section 702, which expires June 12th, contain protections for Americans' Fourth Amendment rights. Specifically, they want to require warrants for searches on America's electronic data, which FISA Section 702 allows federal agencies to collect. Republican privacy hawks are already voiced concerns over the issue, but President Trump's recent appointment of Bill Pulte as the new acting Director of National Intelligence has united practically all Democrats against a clean FISA 702 extension as well. The Democrats don't object to Section 702 because they will willfully use it against you if they can. They're just against it because the president's in favor of it. If the president turned his back on it, they would be for it, okay? Basic Democrat 101, all right? Democrat, okay, to get to a good faith negotiations over FISA 702 reauthorization, an effort to elevate Bill Pulte as acting director. He was appointed. Okay, I don't care what Hakeem Jeffries says, but he's a piece of trash. Although Section 702 technically only authorizes federal intelligence communities to conduct warrantless electronic surveillance on foreign nationals, Americans' data is often swept up as well. Not only can intelligence agencies store the data for up to 5 years, but federal agents can and do routinely search the data without obtaining a warrant, known as backdoor searches. In one of the most infamous cases, FBI agents scoured the data of 19,000 donors of a congressional campaign, tens of thousands of American protesters, or those simply suspected of civil arrest have also had their comms spied on, and even some members of Congress had their data searched via Section 702 declassified documents show. So far, the modest transparency reforms proposed by Congress have failed to satisfy privacy hawks. The Senate tanked the proposal Friday that would have allowed leaders to begin debate on a 3-year extension. The proposed extension, including some privacy reforms, but no warrant requirement. Just put the stupid thing in, guys. FISA is meant to target foreign adversaries, not to give the federal government a backdoor into Americans' communications, Congressman Mark Harris, Republican, North Carolina, said over the weekend. As Congress works toward the June 12th deadline, I will continue fighting for a warrant requirement and lasting reforms that protect the Fourth Amendment. That's it. I ain't going to read the final 3 paragraphs. That's the way it should end right there. It's all right. Fourth Amendment is us, right? and there has to be protections built into the statute to protect Americans' Fourth Amendment rights and the Bill of Rights. All right. I'm only going to get to one more. Man, I'm never going to finish these out. Trump says he will hold a D.C. rally for the America's 250th birthday celebration. It'll be June 24th, June 25th, I think. President Donald Trump said Thursday evening. I just saw this yesterday. How old is it? Hold on just a second here. It says June 9th. Man. Okay. President Donald Trump said Thursday evening that a large rally will take place on the National Mall in downtown D.C. later this month as the nation gears up for its semi-quincentennial birthday. The move comes after multiple award-winning artists pulled out of the concert for the Great American Fair, which is set to formally begin June 25th. The artists claim they were being misled about the nature of the event. No, they weren't. You just come in and sing. Trump says the rally will take place the night before the fair. Okay, so June 24th at 7 p.m. and it'll feature music from Lee Greenwood with God Bless USA. All we want is you, me, a few speakers, and the greatest music ever played. The same music you've listened for the years. Trump said on Truth Social. The rally will be featuring the wonderful U.S. Army Band, Pershing Zone, which are awesome, and the Armed Forces Choir, the President's own United States Marine Corps Band, with the Joint Armed Forces Chorus, and all with your favorite hits, and plus a fine and highly dignified gentleman, also known as President Donald J. Trump. And Christopher Machio is going to be there. And I thought there was a couple other people. All right. But so June 24th, something's happening that day. I can't remember what it was. But June 24th, the president's going to have a huge rally to start off the Great American Fair. It could have been a huge. I think Vanilla Ice is going to be there. Okay, that would be cool. I'm not going to have time to go on these last two articles. We'll have to save them for tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have some Supreme Court news during the actual JP8 report. What do we got? 8:57. Okay, so in terms of upcoming events, on the 18th of June, which is next Thursday, Pints and Politics will be at Area 254 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Chip Howell. He'll probably be dressed as Benjamin Franklin too. But so come on out there, hang out with like-minded conservatives, have some fun, drink some food, drink some drinks, eat some food. It is in the old Kmart parking lot shopping center on South Fort Hood Street. Come on out, 6 p.m. All right. Next, starting tomorrow is the Texas biennial convention in Houston, Texas. The platform groups are already starting to meet today and yesterday. They'll be going on through Saturday with the election of either a re-election of Abraham George as the state party chair, or we'll have a new one. All right. And then also early voting stopped yesterday for Harker Heights Mayor Michael Bloomquist. So election day is this coming Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Harker Heights at the I believe the rec center. So on Miller's Crossing. Look for all the political signs. Go there tomorrow if you live in Harker Heights. Vote for Michael Bloomquist for re-election. Harker Heights mayor, please. All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. I'm going to raid over to the Dan Bongino report. Let me get the link. Copy. There. Control V. All right. So I will catch y'all tomorrow morning with JP's morning brief. Thank y'all very much for tuning in. As I get the raid going, it is confirmed. So we're on our way. All right. Y'all have 10 seconds. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.